Hey everyone, it's Tech Tuesday.
You're watching Ask a Tech.
My name is Alex and I'm here with Jeremy, one of our customer service experts from Plant 39, and we are in our marketing showroom in Elkhart, Indiana. And Jeremy is here today to discuss our in-wall slide system. Jeremy, how long have you been with LCI and what do you do here?
This will be my third year in February, and I am a master of all things in-wall, and I also do parts for leveling and slides.
Awesome. So Jeremy is going to discuss our in-wall system, not to be confused with our slim rack or the fast track system. We are going to dive in deep with the in-wall, and he's going to tackle a ton of common questions that come into customer service and hopefully get you guys some easy answers. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. First up, let's discuss identifying your slide and locating your sticker. The first thing that needs to happen when they even call you guys.
Perfect. So on the inside of the unit, and I've got a little mock-up here to show you. On the inside of the unit, you can go right here, and there's usually a wiper seal that's going to run the length of this column. At the top, if you just peel that back to reveal the motor and the motor notch, keep going for another 4 to 5 inches, and you'll find that sticker right about there. The information we're looking for is an RPO number or a V00 number. If the tag on this side is, not in good shape, you can always check on the other side. It's going to have the same information in the same place.
Wonderful. And then what is the difference between the 3 types of in-wall systems? Again, we're not talking about the 3 types of slide out systems that we offer. We're talking about the 3 different systems within the in-wall.
That's a great question, and one we actually get a lot of. One of the things that they recently switched over to doing is a inverted system. The inverted system adds to the water repellency of the overall mechanism. On the newer units, it will say what type it is on that sticker, but on some of the older ones, it's a little harder to tell. The 3 different types of system are standard, inverted, and V2. Like I said, inverted is more for, it's the direction that these slides are going in now. From now on, standard's kind of leaving the picture, and inverted is the new gold standard. V2 is kind of the motorized market. It's what's going to be on a lot of motorhomes, and that's going to have what's called a plastic gib in place of this metal one. I can actually show you that too.
Cool.
If you're ready. I don't want this to get too messed up, but I'm just going to pull the skeleton right out. So right here in this column, these little guys right here, these are the gibs. Now, on a standard system, they're aluminum, they're metal. On a V2 system, they're going to be a little bigger, they're going to be white, and they're going to be plastic. What that does is that's going to stop a lot of the noise that's in there. So if somebody's in the motorhome, they can actually hear somebody talking to them as opposed to the slide just, rattling around a little bit. If you have the parts in front of you, I do have some right here. This is going to be your standard bearing block. It's going to have just enough room for that aluminum gib. And if you see there, the foot that the shoe sits on is going to point straight down. That's been how it's been for quite some time. This is the inverted now. As you can see, this is what's inverted, and this is the question we get the most, is what's the difference between my standard...
Yeah, you can really see that this is inverted, it's standing straight up.
Absolutely. And that's something that we get a lot because the inverted parts will not work on the standard.
Okay.
So make sure you know. And then finally, this is the V2. The first thing you'll notice is it's much, much smaller, and it's got a much larger groove in here for that plastic gib. And just to illustrate that they are not compatible, I can put that in there, and it's going to make all sorts of noise. Whereas this standard, it fits pretty snug. And those are the 3 different types. Oh, I'm sorry.
Nope, you're good.
The one thing I did want to also talk about was there is a high torque option. We get a lot of questions on this as well. A high torque system will have a 500 to 1 motor as opposed to a 300 to 1. It's going to need a steel shaft, and that's something that they're going to need to overhaul the whole system for.
Okay.
So if that's something you're interested in, we can definitely do it. but we got to replace a couple components in there with a steel so it takes those bigger motors.
Awesome. Up next, let's talk about maintenance.
Awesome. There's really not too much.
That's good.
You know, as advertised, it's a very low maintenance system. I'd say really the only thing that I would do is make sure, and we'll get into this later, make sure when you're extending and retracting to let it go all the way out until it amps out.
Okay.
After a couple months, if you notice it's starting to get a little bit wonky there, you're going to have to resync it, and we'll go over that as well.
Perfect. So nothing crazy. And then let's talk about finding your in-wall system. Where is it going to be located at on your coach? How do I get to the motor and all that good stuff?
Perfect. So the trademark of the in-wall slide out here is right behind you. Is this what they call the S track, and you'll be looking for that on either side of the wall. It's just a track, a silver track or black track that's going to have that design on it, and it
looks like a little worm. It's pretty
perfect.
obvious.
Yeah, exactly. And just to hold up the mock-up there, that's the racks right there. That's an in-wall slide system.
And then let's say that you work at a dealership and someone brings in their unit and the slide out is actually stuck in. What do they do?
Okay. We have two options. We can try the electric override, and if that's a no-go, like something in there is just shut down, you go into manual override.
Okay.
And we'll get into electric override in a minute when I get up there. But manual override's pretty easy. I'm going to pop this in. It sounds easy on paper. It can be a little tough in practice, but once you kind of know where things are, it gets a little easier. The first thing you're going to do is, on the outside of the unit, you're going to look for this little set screw, and I've already popped it just to make it easier for us. And you're going to pull that totally out. It is a square bit, so make sure you've got one of those handy. Once you've got that set screw out, you're going to go to the inside of the unit, and again, make sure that seal is peeled back. Most of the time, you're going to have this motor notch. On older units, it might not be here, or it might be not there at all. But in all the newer ones, it's going to be there. Just get a flathead screwdriver, pop it under there, and pop that guy out. Once he's out and not engaged in that system, you can freely move these in and out. Just get two guys, depending on how big the slide is, and just manually push that in and out. And it'll go pretty easily. Once you're done, the hardest part is just re-engaging that motor.
Awesome. And then before we get up top and show them the actual control panel, can you go over amping out and what's recommended with that?
Again, this is a pretty easy one. Just hold on that button. If you push on that switch, you'll know when those motors shut off because they'll shut off. And that's actually what the controller's looking for. It's looking for that amp spike on both the motors to remember where it is in those revolutions.
Okay.
And that works for in and out. Just once it goes out, make sure you hold on that till it goes all the way out and they stop working.
Okay.
And then all the way back in and they stop working.
Perfect. Great. So we are going to let Jeremy get up top and give you guys a first-hand look at the actual control panel and dive a little bit further into some more common questions.
Okay, so here we are inside the unit. We've located our controller, which is this right here. You'll notice because it's got this dual motor synchronous velocity slide controller, that's the one we're looking for. This one's got quite a bit hooked up to it, but they all operate the same way. Once you get in here to do an electric override, you're going to look for that little tiny white button in there. Normally you're going to have maybe an error code flashing over here, which you can use these to diagnose. But to get the thing in and out, you're going to find that little button, and you're going to take a screwdriver or a pen, whatever you've got handy, and push that 6 times and then hold on the 7th like this. And you're going to hold that for what feels like a long time until both those lights start to flash. Let up. Normally they're going to keep flashing. Didn't hold on to it as long as I should have. But when they're flashing like that, you have 45 seconds to hit that switch. And those motors, you'll just run in direct power to them. They'll go in and out if everything's working correctly. And that'll get the slide in or out depending on what you're needing. To exit that mode, those lights will still be flashing again. You'll just hit that same button and hold it until those lights stop flashing, pull off, and you're good to go.
So at this point, we have gone over a ton of commonly asked questions that customer service gets about the in-wall slide-out system. Hopefully you guys have learned something. Jeremy, there are a ton of opportunities that come with this system. Can you just run through that really quick?
Absolutely. The one that we're most excited about for aftermarket is now we can do slide toppers. And feel free to give us a call on one of those and we'll be happy to get you set up.
Perfect. And then how do they get a hold of you guys at customer service?
They can reach us from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, Eastern Time, at 574-537-8900. Online by sending an email to customer service at lci1.com. And we have a chat feature on lci1.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much for doing this for us. And thank you to everyone that's watching. If there is a topic that you'd love to see in the future, go ahead and leave that in the comment section below. And we hope you enjoy the rest of your Tech Tuesday.